It's payday. You check your account, and before you know it, all the money is gone. But where did all that money go? If you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, then don't miss this. It all starts with what you do the moment you get your paycheck. Your paycheck is not just your income. It is your greatest tool to build wealth. And if you're not using it right the moment it hits your account, you are probably leaking money. Let me show you a simple routine you should follow every time you get paid. Whether you make $500 or more than $5,000 to get the most out of your money and set you up for the future. Did you know that 48% of Americans earning $100,000 or more still live paycheck to paycheck? And more than a third, 36% of those making $200,000 or more a year are in the same boat. It's not just about how much you make. It's about how you manage what you make. A good paycheck routine will help you stay in control of your money, build wealth without thinking too hard, and avoid financial anxiety. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my paycheck routine so that you can finally stop guessing where your money is going and instead automate your financial goals so that you can live a richer and stress-free life. And make sure you stay till the very end because the last step is a must and there's a surprise bonus waiting for you at the end. The mindset shift, your why. It all starts with the basics, your checking account, where your paycheck lands. This is where all the money is distributed to pay for your bills, your utilities, and all your life expenses. Occasionally, there is money left over, but for most people, there is none. Because I also believe that there must be a kind of mindset shift. If you don't have a big why of what you're doing, you are probably not going to do this. You might watch a video like this or open an account, but without a deep change in your heart, it won't stick. I promise. As Christians, our why for managing money is rooted in stewardship. And the Bible teaches us that everything we have is a gift from God. And we are called to be faithful stewards of it. In 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2, it says, "Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found trustworthy." This is not just about building wealth for ourselves. It's about honoring God with the resources He has entrusted us with. Finding your why is about aligning your financial goals with your faith. Seeking financial freedom is not just a personal gain, but so you can be more generous, support your family, and serve others. Most importantly, as long as you have this strong, God-honoring reason, you are more likely to follow what I'm sharing in this video. And the reason you need to do this is because our brains are hardwired to avoid or ignore things that make us even slightly uncomfortable. That's why we rarely check our bank account, even after a shopping trip. But avoiding our finances is just going to make things worse. The first step is to find your financial floor, your need versus your want. It all starts with finding your financial floor, also known as your essential baseline. This means separating your needs and your wants. And believe it or not, it's one of the hardest things to do, especially today, when people have such a high standard of living, making it difficult to cut back on pleasures. In the long run, these pleasures can rob you from your financial freedom. Even if you think this doesn't apply to you, I recommend you do this exercise. You might surprise yourself with what you discover that is draining your money. Get a pen and a paper and grab some of your bank statement, preferably from the last 6 months, and separate your purchases into wants and needs. This will help you see those purchases that are stacking up over time. To help you with this, I've created a free worksheet to guide you through separating your needs and your wants. You can download it using the link in the description below. Your needs should be things like your rent, your mortgage, your insurances, your bills, and utilities. And the rule is simply this: if you can survive without it, it's not a need. Your wants are all the fun stuff: night out, restaurant, bowling, golf. And let's say your needs sum up to $1,200 a month. This will be your financial baseline. And once you know that number, subtract it from your money income to see how much you have left over. Many people say that your financial floor or financial baseline should be under 50% of your total income. Honestly, I think it should be closer to 25 to 30%. If you can keep it there, you're really good. Also, don't treat the need column as something you cannot change. Think about whether you can downgrade or buy a cheaper car, save on utilities, or increase your income. Do all this so you can save and buy your dream home or your pleasure later. My husband and I, after moving into another city a few years ago, decided to downgrade and rent instead of buying another house. We have been renting for almost 3 years now and have considerably saved to lend to our dream home. I'll share our journey to our next house when the time is right. You should know that your earning capacity is always greater than your saving capacity, so strive to earn more. Your wants should be below 25% after you subtract your income from it, because you need a decent amount of money to get you ahead in the next step. The first place your money should be going is giving. Especially as Christians, we honor God with the first fruit of our income. The Bible says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruit of all your crops. Then your barn will be filled to overflowing, and your vat will brim over with new wine. This simply means that before you pay your bills or doing anything else, before you save and before you spend, you have to give a portion back to God. Christians practice tithing, which is giving 10% or more of their income to their local church or their place of worship, or to any organization that feed them spiritually. And the New Testament also really emphasizes on giving cheerfully and generously from your heart, not under pressure. Whatever you have decided to give from your heart, because it is an act of faith and an act of worship, trusting that God will provide for our needs as we obey His command to be generous and to give, to take care of those who preach the word. The next place a portion of your money should go to is into a high-yield savings account, and this is to build an emergency fund that is easily accessible when you need it, and where you don't have to pay fees or pay penalty if you withdraw anytime. This is known as paying yourself first. These ideas come from the book The Richest Man in Babylon, where you take 10% of your money and invest it into yourself. It practically means that when you get $1,000 in your account, you take $100 and either put it in a high-yield savings account for different savings goals, or in an investment account, and set that $100 withdrawn automatically every single month before you get a chance to spend, so that if you don't have money at the end of the month, it will force you to earn more. If you're just starting, this will be your starter or caution emergency fund. Usually you should first save $2,000 or at least 1 month of your actual living expenses. This is because if something unexpected happens, you won't spiral into more debt. You will have at least a caution. A 2024 bank rate study found that 56% of Americans cannot afford an unexpected $1,000 expenses, and 27% have no emergency savings at all. And there's this thing called the Murphy laws that basically says that everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So the unexpected is always at the door. The rule of thumb is to have an emergency fund that can cover around 3 to 6 months of your financial baseline. And if you're self-employed or you have your own business, it's good to have around 6 to 12 months. So if your needs are $3,000 a month, you need to save about $18,000 for emergencies. Also, it is best to keep your emergency fund in a separate bank account so you're not tempted to spend it. I usually recommend setting 20% to save for your emergency fund every paycheck, and Ally and SoFi are good options depending on the time you sign up. The interest can vary from 3 to 5%. Purpose of this account is to serve as a safe place where you can withdraw money for emergency. Life is not a smooth river, and you will eventually have an emergency at some point. Now, if your goal is like mine, to pursue financial freedom and retire early, then you will save 50% or more of your income every month if your horizon is in the next 5 to 7 years. This is a more severe, trust me, it is severe, and frugal approach. Once you allocate at least 20% of your money here, you can put the rest to the next place. Ideally, at this point, you should have 30 to 40% of your income left. Where should you put that money left? Well, you can make a guaranteed return on investment by paying off high interest debt. So let's say you have $10,000 debt on your credit card with a 25% interest rate. You're going to end up paying $2,500 on interest. That is money straight out of your pocket that goes to the credit card company, which prevents you from saving and investing as much as you could. It's like trying to put gas in your car knowing you have a hole in your gas tank that's leaking gas. In that case, of course, your first priority should be to fix the leak. If you use that $10,000 to pay off your credit card today, you just save yourself from paying a $2,500 in interest, which is like getting a guaranteed return of $2,500 in bonus or earning a 25% return in the stock market on a $10,000. So you definitely want to prioritize paying off your debt before starting investing. Most people use the snowball method, paying the smallest debt first, build momentum. For me, when I had debt, I used the avalanche method and started with the debt with the highest interest rate because this makes more sense to me mathematically, and my goal was to earn or get as much money back into my pocket. Again, people are different, so pick the one that works best for your mind. Instead of rushing to invest this money, which will make you around 10%, it is best to pay off debts that are sucking 10% or more out of your money if you don't pay them. So just get rid of that parasite. The Bible warns us against the burden of debt. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Getting rid of high interest debt is not just a smart financial move. It's also a way to reclaim your freedom and avoid the stress and bondage that debt can bring. By paying off your debt, you are freeing up your future income to be used for more fruitful purposes, aligning with the principle of good stewardship. Once you have secured your safety net and gotten rid of high interest debt, then you can start building wealth. That's why the next place for your money is a tax advantage investing account. When you get your paycheck, income taxes are taken out. When you go to the store, sale taxes are taken out. If you have a property taxes are paid every year. Even if you invest in the stock market, you are hit with capital gains. So taxes are everywhere. Luckily, there's a way to offset capital gain taxes on your investment. Now, if you're still in these early stages, don't invest. But retirement is incredibly important, and let me show you multiple ways to invest for it after you pass the previous stages. If you have a 401k or a Roth IRA, set a percentage. I recommend 15% to max out those accounts. If you have a Roth IRA, this account allows you to invest without worrying about taxes. I put a percentage of my excess money here and invest in a low-cost index fund that is tracking the S&P 500. Historically, the S&P 500 index returns about 10% a year, meaning your money will essentially double every 10 years without you needing to do anything other than investing in it. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take this information as a financial advice. Stocks go up and down, so understand the risk involved. Just imagine if you invested $250 per month and assuming an 8% annual return, you will have over 1.3 million in 45 years completely tax-free. Go online and get any investment calculator and input your numbers and see for yourself. The next thing is to max out your 401k up to the employer's match, which is free money that you can get. And according to Vanguard, around 46% of employees with 401ks don't contribute enough to get their full employer's match, which is basically like your boss offering you a raise and you saying, nah, I'm good. debt. A common 401k my structure is a 50 to 100% contribution up to 6% of your salary. So let's say you make $60,000 a year and your employer matches 100% of your contribution up to 6% of your salary. That means if you contribute 6% of your salary or $3,600, your employer is going to throw another $3,600. That is an instant 100% return on your money. So you want to check out your company 401k policy and how much they match so you can max it out. So if you don't have this retirement account I just mentioned where you are either in Europe or Africa, Asia or any other, go check what applies specifically to your context as a retirement account, because they have equivalent accounts in those areas, and invest into it. I don't just want you to get lost when I talk about 401k or Roth IRA, and there are many options, equivalent options out there. Order of the next step really depend on your personal situation and how you view your own opportunity cost, which is basically when you have to choose one thing to do with your money or your time or your resources. Then the opportunity cost is what you had to give up in order to do such thing. Now you want to see what opportunity cost is. You can outsource things that you don't like to do to help you save time, because time is your greatest asset that you will never get back. So before I outsource something to someone else, I typically like to ask myself these three questions. First, how much do I make per unit of time? Let's say I'm making $100 per hour for tutoring. Number two, is the cost of outsourcing a task lower than my rate? For example, I pay $30 an hour to mow my lawn. And the third question is, am I actually using that outsourced time to make more money? If the answer is yes, then per this example, I can make an extra $70 per hour by outsourcing some task. You can also invest at this point through a regular brokerage account or taxable brokerage account. I suggest you primarily invest in a low-cost index fund and hold it for the long term. So if you invest $6,000 a year from 25 to 65 at an annual rate of 10%, you will end up with a total of over $2.7 million. If you choose not to invest and instead keep your money under the mattress, you're going to end up with a total of $240,000, and that difference can easily change your life. Another thing you can do here is you want to contribute to any other tax advantage account that you might have access to, depending on your lifestyle or your goals. For example, you can allocate a percentage to invest in your kids' college fund, ESA 529 plan, if you are a parent, of course. You can also put some money in a health savings account if you qualify for one. Next is to invest in yourself. And for most people, the easiest way to increase their income is with a raise, a side hustle, or owning a business like a rental property, buying an existing small business, and e-commerce, content creation. And the only way you can really do that is by investing in your skill or your experience or in your education, right? The more skills you can offer to your employer, the more income you can likely earn. The point is, if you put a percentage of your money in the right education tools and resources to improve your skills, it will pay back in dividend for sure. The most important thing that I really suggest you follow is to automate everything. Something that I've found in my journey to financial independence is that the fewer financial decisions I have to make, the easier it is for me to focus on the things that actually matter. And sometimes I have a goldfish memory, and by automating things, it really helps me out because there is so many things that I have to remember every day. So if you set up financial automation properly just once, you will never need to think about it again. So here is an example of how I set up mine. Keep it simple. It starts with my paycheck going into my checking account. The first time you set up your paycheck routine, I recommend you leave a buffer of about $500 in your checking account, just in case a transfer doesn't doesn't go right. After a couple of months or just 1 to 2 months, when everything is running smoothly, you can cash that buffer out. Then immediately I have a setup where a percentage of that money automatically flows into separate account. The first transfer goes to my local church and charities I support. The second transfer is into my higher savings account that feeds subs accounts set up for different goals: emergency fund, vacation, family fund back home, for down payment, major expenses, and for many other goals. Third transfer goes into our employer sponsor 401k account, either traditional or Roth, for both my husband and I. It's important to note that this contribution is typically deducted automatically from your paycheck and deposited directly into your 401k account, since it's a pre-tax amount depending on the type of account, and it's an employer sponsor account. The fourth transfer goes into our Roth IRA, where I automatically invest into some of my favorite investment options. The fifth transfer goes into our kids' college fund, their custodial account. The sixth transfer used to go to paying off debt, but right now we currently don't have any debts. So that money we used to allocate to pay off our debt has been redirected into investing or fund money. And the seventh transfer is set on specific dates to pay for housing, utilities, insurances, kids' tuitions, subscriptions, and the remaining for food, transportation, guilt-free spending of fund money, and a small percentage for miscellaneous, because life happens every month. So my favorite thing now is that I don't even have to think twice about whether I pay my bills if I invested this week, because I know that everything is already done on autopilot. When you're pursuing financial independence, you have to be a little more aggressive. So you may not be at that level yet, but try to be as aggressive as possible. Try to save and invest as much of your income as possible. The higher you move that percentage up, the sooner you will achieve financial independence. When you're paying yourself first, you're paying your future self. Well guys, don't forget to take the Fit in Finance Alignment Scorecard in the description below. Check out my ebooks link below and download my free ebook on the 60 books you need to become wealthy. The exact ones that help me achieve financial peace and put me on my way up to financial independence. If you found a lot of value in this video, I would totally appreciate if you guys give me a like, subscribe, and let me know if you have any question down below. And I also highly recommend you to watch the video on the books that makes me wealthy, and the video right here where I talk about the 8 accounts you need to have for financial independence. Stay amazing, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.